Hello. So here's a quick overview of what is going to kind of become the culminating project for the class. And it's something I'm having all of my classes do. And so I'm calling it the Remote Learning Portfolio. Um, and the overview here of this is that we are living in historic times. I think you've heard that enough times from people is that this is something that people are going to talk about, people are going to study, um, people are going to write about. And so we're living through it. So you're living through truly historic times. Um, and so what your task is in this project is to kind of chronicle it. And so, what you're going to be doing is creating primary sources um, that could potentially be used by future generations to study what it was like to go to school at this time. Um, so, think of this. Think of what you're doing here as creating sources that potentially your grandchildren could be looking at, or your great grandchildren could be looking at. And I'd like to do this in conjunction with the Ridgewood Public Library. And so I don't know if you know this or not about me, but I'm pretty plugged into the local history, work that is done here in town. I'm familiar and friendly with the village historian, and in particular with Sarah Kiefer, who is the local historian at the public library. And so she runs what is known as the Bolger Center for Local History. And what the Bolger Center does is they collect basically anything to do with Ridgewood history. And so they have all great primary sources going all the way back into the 1600s about what life was like here in Ridgewood. And what they are doing is they're collecting materials about right now. And so they've been asking people in town to basically document stuff and to provide stuff for them that they could put into their archives. So you don't have to do that. But what I would like you to think about doing is, as you complete this assignment, you're going to turn in, you're going to get graded for it. But what I would also like to do, and as part of this is there's a permission form for you to give permission for me to give this to the Ridgewood Public Library, so that again, generations from now, people can have access to it, go to it, and see it. So knowing that, though, is that it's going to be available to the public. Anyone can come in and anyone can see it. You don't have to agree to share your materials. You don't have to do that. That's not, your grade is not affected in either way. So just by doing this assignment and reflecting on it, I think it's actually probably a good historical practice. But again, if you want to go that one step further and allow me to share it with the library, I would be appreciative. Ms. Kiefer at the library would be appreciative, and all of us here who kind of take care of the history of the village are appreciative. So think about it. There's a permission form that both you have to sign and your parents would have to sign. Again, so talk it over with them. But yeah, okay. So that's basically what this is, asking you to create things, creating artifacts to chronicle this time. You can't really screw it up. You can't really, do it wrong. So have some fun with it. Be reflective with it. And yeah, and basically what you're doing, and the way to think of this, you're creating primary sources. So really spend some time thinking about, what do you want to remember? What do you want to recall? What do you think is important? What do you think would be of interest to someone studying this 50, 60, 70 years from now? Okay, so I'm going to create little videos to go along with some of these pieces to explain what I'm looking for in more detail. But